And this is just coming in. Canada's women's hockey team is celebrating a victory at the Winter Olympics in Milan.
Good luck, Team Canada. You've earned this moment. After long days and late nights, through discipline, sacrifice, and relentless effort, you're ready to compete at the highest level.
Something unusual happened this week. In Washington, President Donald Trump was locked in another high-stakes confrontation with Congress.
Decisions that Donald Trump makes, especially when it comes to the people that he decides to appoint to very important positions, including this one, because I did have to make sure that I wasn't going crazy.
Cameras flashed as lawmakers clashed over spending authority, tariffs, and executive power. The tone was tense. Supporters called it strong leadership. Critics called it instability. Either way, the headlines were filled with division. At the very same time, on a completely different stage, Canada delivered something far quieter and far more unified. Under bright arena lights, Canada's women's hockey team shut out Finland, securing the group runners-up spot with a disciplined, composed performance. No chaos, no controversy, just execution.
They're not part of my team anymore, but I will be glad to see them again on the Victor ice at home, but yeah, when they're Canada all the way, especially right now.
And the contrast was impossible to ignore. While America argued with itself, Canada looked focused, confident, and in control. Trump's ongoing battle with Congress has centered on authority. Who controls trade, who sets spending limits, who defines America's direction. His supporters argue that confrontation is necessary to restore strength. His critics warn that constant political warfare weakens America's global image, but international perception rarely waits for nuance. It reacts to visuals. In Washington, the visuals are hearings, debates, and sharp exchanges. In the arena, the visuals were far different. Crisp puck movement, tight defensive structure, and a flawless performance from Canada's goaltender.
As an American, it's kind of a tough time down there right now. So, for the Olympics, I think it's just such a unifying time and can create pride in a different way for your country. So I think it's always great to have this event.
Finland is no weak opponent. They are structured, disciplined, and historically competitive in international women's hockey. Shutting them out required control from the first face-off to the final whistle. Canada delivered exactly that. The victory was not emotional or dramatic. It was methodical. Canada controlled the tempo, limited Finland's offensive space, and capitalized when opportunities appeared. Defensive gaps closed quickly. Breakouts were clean. Every finish attempt was turned aside. Shutouts are statements. They say you were prepared, you were organized, you were better, and that message carried weight far beyond the scoreboard. For decades, Canada's women's hockey program has represented consistency and excellence. Championships are expected. Gold medals are pursued as standards, not surprises. That culture did not appear overnight. It was built through investment, development systems, and long-term planning.
71 current members of Congress for this story. The vast majority, members of both parties, bemoaned what they see as a long-term loss of power for Congress. Some see it now as at historic lows.
That kind of stability stands in sharp contrast to the turbulence dominating U.S. political headlines. Trump's confrontations with Congress have created uncertainty in multiple areas: trade, budgets, executive authority. Allies watch closely, markets react cautiously. Every public clash shapes global perception. Meanwhile, Canada quietly strengthens its soft power. Sport plays a powerful role in how nations are viewed. It creates global visibility without confrontation. It builds admiration instead of friction. When Canadian athletes perform at this level, they reinforce an image of competence and unity. The timing amplified the symbolism. As Washington's political temperature rises, Canada's hockey team projects calm control. One story is loud and combative, the other is disciplined and focused. That contrast matters in a world driven by narrative. Trump's approach often emphasizes leverage and disruption. He frames conflict as necessary for strength. His base sees it as decisive leadership. But abroad, repeated clashes can look like unpredictability. Canada's approach on the ice reflected the opposite: structure over spectacle, precision over pressure, confidence without noise. It was not just a win, it was positioning. Securing group runners-up status matters strategically. It shapes matchups and influences tournament paths. Canada was not just playing games, it was planning for deeper rounds. That idea resonates beyond sport. Global influence is not built only on military or economic power. It is built on perception, stability, reliability, preparation. The United States remains a superpower. No hockey game changes that reality. But soft power operates differently from hard power. It grows through culture, performance, and consistency. In recent years, Canada has leaned into that space, presenting itself as cooperative, steady, and forward-looking. Even when facing its own economic pressures, Ottawa emphasizes diplomacy and measured responses. At the same time, Trump's battles with Congress dominate international coverage. Every confrontation reinforces an image of internal division. When viewers around the world see those two stories unfold simultaneously, they draw comparisons.
Big, long picture here, over the 20th century, into these years of Trump, is a loss of congressional power.
One nation debates authority, the other executes flawlessly. The women's shutout over Finland was also a reminder of depth. Canada's roster moved with cohesion. Lines transitioned smoothly, defensive systems held under pressure. The goaltender remained composed. It reflected preparation at every level. In politics, outcomes are often uncertain. In sport, outcomes are visible and measurable. Canada's performance delivered clarity, and clarity builds confidence. As Congress continues debating Trump's authority and policy direction, Canada continues advancing in international competition. Each victory reinforces a national identity built around excellence in hockey, a sport deeply woven into Canadian culture. This moment is not about claiming one country is stronger than the other. It is about contrast in presentation. In Washington, conflict defines the narrative. In the arena, unity defines it. That contrast shapes how the world talks about both nations. Political fights will continue. Negotiations will drag on. Trade disputes may intensify. But on the ice, Canada demonstrated something simple. Focus beats noise. As Trump battles Congress, Canada wins the world stage. Not through speeches, not through threats, through performance. And sometimes performance speaks louder than politics. What do you think this contrast says about global perception right now? Does confrontation project strength, or does steady execution build more influence? Share your thoughts below, and stay tuned for more stories where politics and global moments collide.